Hey guys, welcome to the Homemaker
and the Apprentice.
I'm Carolyn.
And I'm Audrey.
So, you guys, before we go any further, we want to remind you to please give us a thumbs up if you like it.
Hit that subscribe button.
Yes, and share it with people if there's something in here that you think is good. So, I hope you guys have had a good morning. Ours was busy, full of
Yes.
cutting some vegetables up that we'd gotten on clearance, and
A lot.
a
lot.
squash. We got lots of squash, and so we're just getting
sewing.
done. And sewing, yeah, I was doing
Sewing.
some, and trying to get school stuff done. So yeah, I was working with our youngest on school, and Audrey had school stuff to get done today too. So it's just been a normal, regular homemaking day at home. But
Normal day.
normal day.
Normal
yes.
day.
Yeah. So again, if you guys are liking this, just put some comments in there. We'd love to hear from you. We'd love to get to know what you think about things, what topics might be more enjoyable. If you like the funnier things, or if you like the more serious stuff, we want to help you out with the just thoughts from a homemaker and
how
apprentice on how
dealt with it in your life.
Yeah, because we can all learn from each other.
Oh, yeah.
That's the best way to do it.
That's why we're doing this.
Yeah,
We all
yes,
learn
exactly.
from each other.
Yep. So we've been talking about all kinds of things over the last little bit. Just all kinds
We
of
never
topics.
pick a topic and just stick with it. We kind of go.
Well, Audrey and I have been having conversations about friendship. We've been talking about a lot of homes that are broken, and what that leads to for families and children, and just how to interact with those people. It's almost everyone. It's most people come from some kind of broken family, and so that's been a big topic. So I think we'll get back to that more, because that's a huge heart of homemaking, is giving a great foundation for your family. And so I want to come back to that one sometime. But we were talking about friendship issues, and what does it mean to be a friend? What are we to look for as friends? And then how is that specifically kind of hard as a homemaker? And then also homeschoolers. There's this other part to it that comes, because you're not mashed up with people all the time. You are separated a lot, which is one of the main reasons that we homeschool.
That we do it, yes.
But as a homemaker, especially with little kids, it's just really hard. You can't get out and meet people a lot because you got nap schedules and stuff. And I was pretty adamant about following a schedule. So it was something that I had to, both for my sanity, and I was running a business too. And so I had to be very regimented on that. Some people aren't, and they can, go and be more free. And again, a huge part of this that we've talked about before, it'll depend on if you have family around or if you're by yourself. And since I didn't have any family around, and didn't have any safety net of that kind, my friendships or my excursions were usually only when my husband was available to help with that, or when the children were in a Mother's Day out for a little bit there. I might be able to go grab lunch with somebody, but it was usually one of my clients / friends, so I could do work and a meeting at the same time. And thankfully, I did have a lot of great, wonderful clients that also became friends through the years. So it was a both and kind of situation. And some of them ended up being younger moms, moms that were behind me for a few years. So I was able to be a help to them. But as Audrey is, getting in her last year of high school, and we moved when she was what were you, halfway through 4th grade?
Yeah.
Well, no, it was right before
finished.
5th. Yeah, right before 5th grade.
Yeah.
We stopped going to the Christian private school that we were halfway through 4th, and then we still had another half a year that we did at home when we were still living over closer to the city. But there was friendship issues when she was at school, because what does friendship mean? And so I guess that's where we have to start, because especially as women, we are meant for more community. We are meant to have people in our lives. We need that. God designed us to be both caretakers of our children and our husband, but also caretakers of each other. And if we don't have those kind of relationships, we're missing something very essential to our life. And, And so it's not just the homeschooling thing or just the homemaking thing. It's all of these pieces that come together to make it a harder situation to find like-minded, and not just like-minded. For us, the thing that we keep coming back to is investment.
Yeah.
Friendships take investment. And sometimes I don't have the ability to invest in a friendship that's there. But most times, for both Audrey and I, it has been that other people speak lots of words, but don't really follow through on actually wanting to get together or have a friendship, whether it's through texting or calling or letter writing or, any of these things. And so it makes you feel rejected. It can make you feel rejected or like, what am I not getting? Are people saying these things to me just to get me off their back, or are they saying them because they really want to? They don't know how to be friends. What are the reasons for the struggle with it? And so
I thought it was always really hard though, because in school everybody knew everybody. I was even in the grades older than you and younger than you, so you knew everybody's name and everything. But when we first started homeschooling, we went to the homeschooling group. We were trying to just meet the other kids that were there and get to know everybody. Walked in, and I think one of the older girls came over and talked to me, but that was probably a couple weeks later because she wasn't there the first time. So I had to be the first one to ask, like, what's your name? What do you do? What do you like to read? And it was just that all the time. So I didn't know, well, maybe their people are just really shy.
Yeah.
But
and Audrey would.
I don't like doing it either.
Yeah, she would kind of be classified more as an introvert with that kind of stuff. Not that she can't go into it, but it's not her preference, right? So some people are just very gregarious and they can go walk up to anybody and say that, and I would probably include myself in that category because it was kind of forced on me. I grew up a military brat. We moved all the time. Then we were missionaries. I had to be able to talk to anybody at any time, and just otherwise I wasn't going to have any kind of connection with people because it was always changing. Our life was always changing, and so you had to learn. You have to jump in and you have to start talking to people, and you have to just find a place to connect because they're not going to come and find you. And I think that's been the biggest lesson. Like, we keep hoping that there are going to be these people, these friends that are going to come and find us, and they don't happen. And it is hard. It is hard to try to find friendships and to be a good friend and to find other people who want to be good friends. And I think it's such a common issue right now. I mean, it's not just us, me, Carolyn and Audrey. It's a human problem right now because we don't know how to have connection, and that kind of goes back to the broken home situation. When you don't even have a home where you understand what friendship and love and care is about, how do you then go out as a broken person and try to find friends or understand what that means? Like I said to her, I remember sometimes in college or whatever, people would invite me to go do stuff, and then on the other hand, they would say, she always wants to hang out with us. And so I remember, which one is it? Do you want me to come? Do you not want me to come? I feel like I can't win this anyway. And then I had the other people who were just really needy people who just suck the life out of you. And you think, is this the only kind of friendship that I can have? But it's not a friendship, because it was a one-way street of me giving and them receiving. And so, I had to get burned by that a lot of times. I've never had a friendship where the person on the other side gave more than me or even wanted to give as much as me. I have not personally had that outside of family. I do have two sisters who've been able to be that at different times in different ways, not all the time, because we all have lives going on, and so that isn't a consistent thing. Though I know for any of us as family that if something major were to happen, we would all, be there for each other and make a way to be that. But they're not the people that I call, when I have an issue or when I need to talk through something. It's not the people that I call, and so I don't have that. Thankfully, I do have a spouse that I can talk through some of that. But when you're having issues that are more woman to woman, or just where I might need another woman's perspective on how to raise my children, or how to deal with aging things, or stuff like that. I haven't been able to find that. And so for this generation, these generations, there's some really good books out there that I've read by Jean Twenge, The Narcissism Effect, and then she did one called iGen. And I've talked about them for so many years with them after I had read them. But it just shows you that there is a lack of being able to make connections, that these little things, this phone and these cameras that we live vicariously through, have changed our world in so many ways that we don't know how to interact with people. When we are gathered with people, we don't even know how to start conversations. We don't know how to take it to the next step. Like, okay, we had a great conversation. Would you like to meet for coffee, or go get a donut, or would you like to do something? People don't know how to do that, and if they can't text, or they can't do it in some more non-personal way, then they don't know how to interact with it. So far that I was talking about the percentage of teenagers that actually get together to go to the movies is so minimal now, where they just will both sit at home and watch it on Netflix or Amazon Prime or something, and text back and forth, but they don't even get together to go and do this. So
it's really sad.
Yeah, and so that's Generation X and millennials, and we all have it in there. And so for the iGen or Gen Z, whatever we would go with, and whatever the next one's going to be called, I don't even know. Have they come up with a name for
Gen Z, Gen Alpha, and then I think they're just going to keep going with Gen Beta.
Okay, so we're going to Greek letters or something.
I don't know. I think that's what's the plan.
But anyway, yeah. So, how are they going to interact with this? When you are in the grocery store and you see these babies in the cart with their moms, and the thing that's in front of them is a screen all the time. They're not even interacting with their parents anymore. They're not even interacting with their siblings. They are being catered to by a screen. And so friendship is just a whole different area now than it was. And how do we navigate that? And if other teenagers aren't being taught at home how to be a good friend, how do you teach your teenager to go out there and find those friends? So we've had a lot of instances with that, where some people either only text and they don't want to get together at all, or they only want to get together, they don't text, they don't check in with you, they don't do anything, but they'll say they want to get together, but then you get together and they don't talk, and so like, what is this? Do you want to get together? Are you just saying things to make me feel better because you really want to, but you don't know how to do it? How do you train people to have friendships? And so Audrey's been trying to get back into letter writing and doing more of that, because it seems it is a lost art in so many ways, and it can be a really great way to be deeper with people.
Holding a letter in your hand is so much better than holding a text, because the person actually took the time to put that pen or pencil to paper and write that.
And go to the mail. I mean, and put it in the mail.
There's a
lot of extra steps that make you feel invested in it, right? Yes. When you get a letter versus somebody just sending you a text and stuff. So, it is a huge difference. And so I'm glad that she's had that. And she has one person who's been writing her pretty faithfully for a couple months now, and it kind of came out of the blue. It did. And it was just a wonderful surprise to be able to have somebody who actually wants to get to know her and wants to share a life. Share life together in a way that you can't by, only talking back and forth on text. And so she's reached out a lot of times, and this one, the one that started writing to her, was not something somebody that just started writing to her was just totally unexpected. So all the people that she has pursued to try and write to and stuff, she doesn't get much response, but then this other person did. So I know that there are other people out there who are looking for connections, and it's really just a slog fest of trying to figure out where they are and who are these people that we can have friendships with, and what does friendship now look like. And it's different for a teenager versus a mom, because you have to, my time is more limited. And so if I'm going to get together with somebody, I really want to be precious about if it's somebody that I really feel a connection with, not just so that I can have something out of it, but either that I can, give them something, help them with something, just spend time with them and enjoy it. And hopefully sometimes that there will be a payback for me. I don't know, that's not the right,
I know,
but a return on investment. Like, you want to have an ROI on all of the things that you do. Not always, but at some time you want to have some return on your investment in people. And because if you're not, it would be a bad business deal if you don't ever get any return on your investment. It's not a great way.
That's not gonna work.
In friendship either. If you're constantly the one putting out and putting out and putting out, and it ends up taking you away from your other stuff, and you're not getting anything out of it, then it becomes a hard road to continue to hoe over and over, and you gradually just lose interest in it. But sometimes we hold on to the friendships that we do have, because they're the only ones that we have, and we get almost a little desperate. And so that's why I remember telling Audrey a few times and reminding myself that the Bible talks about there's only one friend that really will be there all the time, and he sticks closer than a brother. He's the person the only person that can fill all the needs that we have. And so yes, we do want to have community, we do want to have fellowship with people here on earth, but sometimes it's not going to be around, and the only person that we can turn to, the only one that we can trust with our whole heart, with all of our emotions, with all of our being, is our Heavenly Father and our brother, Jesus Christ. He says that he will be with us, and he will never leave us nor forsake us. And so in the midst of the lonely times, and in the midst of wondering, like, do I have something wrong with me? Like, why does it seem like these people have friends? But then when you really get down to the nitty gritty of it, we've been around a lot of teenagers, and most of them will say, no, I don't really have any friends, but they're doing stuff with people, and so what we misconstrue a lot of times as friendship is really just busyness.
I think it's really hard because some of the teens that I would talk to were always like, oh yeah, I really want a friend. And so, you kind of try a little bit, but I don't know, I guess it's just they have not been given the tools to be. I really think that so much of it comes down to that. And not just for the teenagers though. I mean, I'm saying this is 20-year-olds, 30-year-olds, a lot of stuff completely changed in our world. First of all, when you start taking God or any kind of morality out of the picture, you have no incentive to look out for the other person anymore, because it becomes all about you, and that's what our life has become, so self-centered, so self-focused, that if it's not good for me, then I don't want to do it, or if this causes me some discomfort, well then it can't be good, because I only need to do things that make me feel good, right? Yeah.
And starting a new friendship with people doesn't always make you feel good. It doesn't, because you have to be uncomfortable. You have to put yourself in situations that might go well, or they might totally bomb. Yeah. And it's not always fun. And so if you're operating from a stance of everything needs to be good for me, then how are you ever going to put yourself into a discomfiture in order to hopefully get the things that you want down the road? So I don't know, what other thoughts do you have on friendship?
I don't know.
In the pursuit of it, or what does it?
One of the things that we've been mentioning back and forth is when you'll ask people questions and they just give you an answer and they don't ask questions back.
Yeah.
Because that's the best thing, when somebody actually wants to know how your day went, or even how the weather is at your house. I don't know.
Right.
But
well, you feel, and I mean, I keep saying this word over and over, but I don't know how else to say it, but you feel invested in when somebody actually wants to hear your response instead of just talking about themselves. And when they only talk about themselves, or just even it's even the one word answers that are really bad, like, did you have a good day? Yes. Okay, nothing there. Like I can't pull anything out of that. So what do you do with that? Oh, okay. Did anything fun happen today? You try again. No, it was kind of boring. Okay, and you just keep trying
But
a
it's
little
sad,
bit.
like you don't have to ask me about my day. I'm not gonna make you do that, but it's nice if you do. Like, you ask somebody a question, they ask you one back.
Yeah. These are common courtesy things that used to be very normal. You go back and watch a lot of the 50s stuff, and even those, I don't know if you guys have ever seen those, they used to be on, I don't know if it was public TV or something, but they were all of these black and white skit things that we had you watch.
The ones Dad got us
Dad
to
found them
watch
again,
for
and so we watched them.
Christmas.
But they were, how
So
to be a
good.
friend, how to take a girl out on a date, how to interact with your friend's parents, just all
How to
kinds of
set a
life
table
situations.
for a
How to
dinner
set a table.
party.
Yes, yeah, and how to invite people. All these kind of wonderful things that were more common knowledge, and they just aren't anymore. And so that's where I tell her, I'm like, you have to try some. You have to keep pushing some, but the hard part comes when they say that they want to be around you, that they want to hang out with you, but then their words and their actions don't seem to match up. When they don't respond to your text well about like getting together or having or asking how your day went when you ask them, or do you want this? Do you want this friendship? Because you say it, but then I don't feel like your actions match up. And so how are you ever going to get to know me if you don't ask a question? Unless you just sit there and volunteer stuff all the time, and that's not a great way to be. It's called like throwing up on people when you just sit there and tell them all of your stuff at the same time, and so that's not a good friend or a good friendship start either. So I guess all of this is to really say we don't really know how to help you. We are still trying to figure it out, but know that there are other people out there who are wanting good friendships. And if you find one of them, cling to it and try to invest. And if you don't have time right now, just keep in touch with them and let them know, like, I really do want to get in touch with you, but right now the kids' nap schedule, the school stuff that I have going on, whatever it is, I just can't. But maybe we can at least just get together for a 15-minute phone call, every other week or something, so that we can keep the door open, so that when our schedules open up more or things change to a little bit, we can develop this friendship, because there is something special here that's already started, and I want to hold on to it. And sometimes you have to do that, and every once in a while you find those friendships that last for years, even when you don't get to stay connected. I've been blessed with a couple of those through the years, and most of those have just kind of fallen by the wayside in the last 6 or 7 years. I just didn't keep up, partly because I don't do social media anymore, so I don't even have that way to keep up with them, and partly, just a lot of differences were shown over the last few years, where things that are kind of like fundamentally different, and so you can't always bridge those things, because you want to surround yourself with people that are uplifting and encouraging and believe some of the same things that you do. And just having a friend to have a friend, but them not being somebody that you can actually turn to for advice, because they would give you advice that you wouldn't agree with, isn't really a great friendship. So it doesn't mean that you have to cut them off, but it does mean that you limit your amount of exposure and time with them. And so a lot of those things were revealed for me over the last few years, and so I just I just had to say thank you for the friendship that it was, for the time that it was, and we'll have to see what else is coming. But hopefully you can find some of those friends that you don't have to stay into contact with all the time, and you can write them a letter, every few months, or you can, pick up the phone and just call them for a little bit, or you can send texts back and forth when it's their birthday and stuff, and you just keep that door open for the time when your children are a little older, or when you aren't as stressed financially, or whatever the case is, because that's the only way that it works long term, for you to be able to have friendships that go the long haul. So I don't know. The other thing that we just had said, and I think we'll probably close it up here. I'm making my daughter tired.
Oh, no.
Yeah. I'm talking too long.
No.
Oh, it's always a thing. Sorry. I do a lot of
Just a
talking.
little sleepy right now.
Yes, yeah. But the other thing that I came across that I thought was kind of fun, that it said, a low maintenance friendship isn't friendship at all. And it really, I didn't go any further than saying that, but it made me ponder that idea. And I think that I agree with that well. If somebody doesn't want to invest in you and doesn't have the time nor the energy to check on you and hear about your day, or that they always turn it around to them, then that's not a friendship. That's not what friendship is. That is an acquaintance that you like. I mean, I don't even know how to qualify these things, but if there's no maintenance involved with it, it's not going to last. Just like a marriage, if you don't ever talk to each other and get to the heart of issues and why something's said or not done that hurt or affected you, it won't last, because we have to do the hard work. We have to do the hard work in order to have good friendships, good marriages, good work relationships. It's every kind of relationship that you have to have investment. So yeah, if you are looking for friends, just keep your eyes open, keep trying things, keep struggling through it. But again, know that there are other people who are out there trying to find it, and we hopefully will find each other, and maybe there will be able to be a community of people through this channel and stuff that will open some avenues for people to be able to feel a camaraderie together, even if they're not able to do stuff in person, just to be able to be seen and heard and know. And if you guys have some really good tips on finding friends or how to go about it, or what, I would love to hear them. We would love to hear them. What if you are a homeschooling family, what have you done to make that a more accessible option for your children, and just all kinds of things like that. We'd love to hear from you on that. So
Leave a comment.
Do you have anything else that you want to add?
I don't think so. I think that was pretty good.
Yeah, Mom just talking. I'm just talking.
I love it when you talk. I love it when you talk. You're the homemaker. I'm the apprentice.
Yes.
So,
Well,
apprentices, listen.
They do. Yeah. Yes.
I think it's kind of funny, random little side note here, but one of the book series I was reading was an apprentice and his master, and they had just gotten together, and the apprentice was really excited to start learning all of the skills for the trade that he was apprenticed to. And so he asked his master, like, what do I do now? And the master was like, you go and chop firewood, and then you come in here and you make me breakfast. And I was like, oh my goodness. But that's funny.
Yeah.
It's funny.
You have to start with the mundane stuff.
You have to start with the mundane stuff before you can get to that.
To the other thing.
So,
yeah. And it's every part of life.
Yes.
That's what we have to do. But we all, as humanity, want to go to the top of the pile first. If I'm going to learn how to forge, I want to be able to forge the first day I go there to forge. I don't want to have to learn about stacking the metal or looking at the handle material. I want to be able to get in there and actually start pounding metal, and you can't do that.
No.
If you want to learn to be a good cook, you can't walk in and make the best souffle and whatever other fancy dish you can think of right away. You have to start with the smaller things. So yeah, that applies to friendship as well. Start with the small stuff. So you guys, I think we'll wrap it up. We went a little longer today again, but it is a big topic, and I know it's something that affects people a lot. It's affected us a lot through the years. So yeah, we're still looking through and trying to find our own way and make times to get together with potential friends and see what comes of it, and write letters. That's another fun thing. So yes, so you guys, I hope you have a great day. Remember to like, share, subscribe. If you're getting any benefit from this, leave us a comment. We would love to hear from you. We want to be able to interact with you. And I guess that's it. So yeah. So we'll see you next time on the next video. Deo Valente.
Deo Valente.